Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great evening so far. What I wanted to do in today's video was I saw a PistonPowered.com article talking about 4 teams the Detroit Pistons could possibly make trades with if these teams mentioned in the article do not have the seasons that they're expecting. And some of these players that are named, they're not bench players, they're starters on teams. They're starters on good playoff teams. So, what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to look at the players that they have and try to get some trades accepted over at Fanspo in their trade machine. But let's go over to PistonPower.com and look at some of the players that they do have mentioned in their article. So the first team Piston Powered has is the Miami Heat, and the 2 players they have listed are Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Very good players. I just want to say this: I don't think Miami would trade Bam Adebayo, even if they had a season that maybe they didn't expect. Maybe they missed the playoffs, which I don't think they will. I think he's a centerpiece, so that's why I'm not really going to focus on trying to get a trade accepted with him. We'll focus on Tyler Hero, trying to get a trade between the Miami Heat and the Pistons accepted in Fanspo towards the end of the video. But Tyler Hero is a name that I'm very interested with. So the second team mentioned by Piston Powered in their article is the New Orleans Pelicans. Surprise, surprise. And the players mentioned are Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum. I think all 3 of these players could help the Detroit Pistons win more basketball games at the end of the day. And you could try to connect the dots because both Trajan Langdon and Michael Blackstone worked under David Griffin in their front office for several years. Okay? Now, I think for just the trade machine purposes, I'm going to focus on Brandon Ingram. I think Zion Williamson, you would have to give up a hell of a lot to even get Zion to Detroit, and I don't really think it's worth it given where Detroit's at. I don't really think you'd have to give up as much for Brandon Ingram as you would for Zion Williamson. And CJ McCollum, nothing against him as a player, but me personally, I just don't really see the need to try to bring CJ McCollum at this stage of his career to the Detroit Pistons. So at the end of the video, we'll do a Pelicans trade as well, and we'll try to get Brandon Ingram to the Detroit Pistons. So the third team Piston Powered had in their article is the Denver Nuggets. Now, in the event Denver does not have the season they want, the 2 players Piston Powered believes the Detroit Pistons could possibly trade for are Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. For the sake of this video, I'm going to try to get a Michael Porter Jr. trade with the Detroit Pistons and Denver Nuggets accepted towards the end of this video, but really interested to see what we can get done with a Michael Porter Jr. trade. The fourth and final team Piston Powered had in their article is the Memphis Grizzlies, and the player they believe that the Pistons could possibly trade for in the event the Grizzlies have another just horrid season with injuries, or maybe they're not winning the games that they think they should, is Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, this is a guy that I think a lot of Pistons fans are familiar with, went to Michigan State, and has really developed nicely over the past couple of years. And also, if you guys want to connect the dots, there is a connection with J.B. Bickerstaff and Jaren Jackson Jr. J.B. Bickerstaff was actually the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, while Jaren Jackson Jr. was a rookie, I want to say. So it'll be really interesting to see what we can cook up over at Fanspo for a possible trade with the Pistons and Grizzlies. Okay, so the first team we are going to try to trade with is the Miami Heat, and the player that we're going to be focusing on today is Tyler Hero. Now, we're going to be absorbing $29 million in salary. Now, if we look at the Miami Heat's roster, they need a backup point guard and possibly a power forward. They signed Haywood Highsmith to a 2-year, $5.2 million deal over the next 2 years. Then they have Kevin Love, Nikola Jovic, who doesn't really play that much. He's still 21 years old, really raw as a prospect. So I have an idea who I'd want to send them. And I think I don't want to give up Jaden Ivey because I still think that there's something there with him. I would give up Marcus Sasser to the Heat because he could be a backup point guard for them. And I think I'm going to try to trade Isaiah Stewart to the Heat to see if I can get a Tyler Hero in a trade. And I'm going to throw them a pick. I'm going to throw them a 2025 second that we got from the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade, which is going to be probably a really early second round pick because I don't really expect the Raptors to be too good to the point where this pick is like in the high 40s, high 50s. It's probably going to be like early 30s to mid 30s in a very good upcoming draft class. So the trade, Marcus Sasser, Isaiah Stewart, any 2025 second in exchange for Tyler Hero. Let's see if we can get this accepted. And we got it accepted. Now, obviously, you hate to lose Isaiah Stewart, heart and soul of the team. You hate to lose Marcus Sasser because I think a lot of you guys really do like Marcus Sasser, and so do I. But you're getting a guy in Tyler Hero that is a good fit next to Cade Cunningham and can score at all three levels. So let me know what you guys think of this trade, though, because I think some of you will absolutely hate this trade, but I think some of you might like it. But we're going to go over to the next trade, and that is with the New Orleans Pelicans and Brandon Ingram. So let's go over there and see what we can get accepted. So Piston Powered mentioned the Pelicans as a trade destination with the Pistons. Now here's the issue. The Pistons do not have enough cap space to absorb Brandon Ingram's $36 million contract right away. So we have to get the Utah Jazz involved because they're one of the very few teams that actually have remaining cap space, much like the Pistons. So this is going to have to be a 3-team trade. So stay with me, you guys. This could kind of get confusing. So you're going to send Brandon Ingram to Detroit. We're going to be sending Isaiah Stewart to the Pelicans because they need a center and they've liked Isaiah Stewart for the longest time. The Pelicans have to send out some salary as well, and they are going to be sending out one of their higher lottery picks, Jordan Hawkins, to the Jazz. And the Pistons have to send out salary as well, so they have to send out either Asar Thompson or Jaden Ivey or Cade Cunningham or Jalen Duren, which I don't think they'll do that. I think if you get a Brandon Ingram, you're probably going to give up on either Jaden Ivey or Asar Thompson. I think they would probably give up on Asar Thompson and trade him to the Jazz. Now, this is just a hypothetical, you guys. I don't think this is going to happen. I actually think this is really unrealistic. But we're going to try to get this trade approved. And it does get approved. So the Pistons would get the Brandon Ingram. Pelicans would get Isaiah Stewart. And the Jazz would get Asar Thompson and Jordan Hawkins. Again, I do not think that the Pistons need to put themselves in the Brandon Ingram sweepstakes or the CJ McCollum or the Zion Williamson sweepstakes. I just think given his situation, being owed $36 million on a one-year deal, it's a one-year rental, then he wants close up to $200 million on another extension. I think if you're Detroit, it's just not really a realistic possibility that you're going to get a Brandon Ingram, and you'd have to get a third team involved like the Utah Jazz to absorb some salary. And I doubt Pistons fans want to give up on Asar Thompson in a deal. I doubt they want to give up on Isaiah Stewart in a deal, but I don't see a Brandon Ingram pathway for the Detroit Pistons. Maybe for the Utah Jazz you could see a Pelicans Jazz deal happen, but I just don't think Detroit is a possible team that can trade for him financially. Okay, so a common theme I'm noticing with Piston Powered in these trades is Denver is negative $41.9 million in cap space. Pistons only have around 12 to $10 million in cap space, right? You're gonna need a third team involved. You're gonna need Utah to get involved again. And here's the thing. I don't think this is a realistic trade if you're Detroit Pistons. If you're the Detroit Pistons. I like Michael Porter Jr., but I don't like absorbing $35.8 million over 3 years onto my books. I like Aaron Gordon, which I think Aaron Gordon's actually a little bit more obtainable at 22.8 million over the next 2 years. But again, Denver is just in such a cap space hole, almost $42 million in negative cap space. I just don't see a trade that's actually going to happen here. So we're not even going to attempt to try to get a 3-team trade accepted, because I just think it's a waste of the Nuggets' time, the Pistons' time, and whatever third team that you get involves time. So the fourth and final trade that we have is with the Detroit Pistons and the Memphis Grizzlies. And the trade that they had was Jaren Jackson Jr. in the event that the Grizzlies season just goes completely south. So we're going to trade Jaren Jackson to the Detroit Pistons. We're going to send out Isaiah Stewart to the Grizzlies. And we're going to send them some picks, too, for taking on Jaren Jackson. So we're going to trade our 2025 second that we got from the Tim Hardaway trade, that is the Toronto Raptors second. And we're going to trade a top 8 protected 2029 first round pick to them. So we are going to put some protections on it. Top 8 protected to them. And we're going to trade to the Grizzlies. Okay? So Isaiah Stewart, a 2025 second, and a 2029 first that has top 8 protections in exchange for Jaren Jackson Jr. Let's see if we can get this approved. And it is approved. So in the event that this pick doesn't convert, the Pistons will actually get to keep their 2029 first. But that's the trade. Again, I don't know if the Grizzlies would give up on Jaren Jackson Jr., but you never know if the Grizzlies have injuries again or their season just goes completely south. Maybe this is the type of trade that could happen between the Detroit Pistons and the Memphis Grizzlies. Let me know what you guys think of these trades. This was a very fun video doing these trade machines. Obviously, couldn't really get a Denver Nuggets trade with Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. done. Nuggets are just in cap space hell, much like the Pelicans. But talk to me down below in the comment section if you think any of these players are actually realistic targets for the Detroit Pistons if these teams do not have the seasons that they expect. I will talk to you guys down below in the comment section. Like always, hope you guys are staying safe. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.